Today, we're opening a chilling file. It's a true crime story that doesn't start with a knife or a gun, but with
with a promise.
a promise of incredible power, right? Spiritual power, financial power, limitless potential.
Exactly. And it leads us down a really dark path within the American self-help movement. It's a story where charisma and, honestly, blind faith collided in the Arizona desert with lethal results.
We're talking about James Arthur Ray, a name that became infamous. His teachings, they started like many others, motivational stuff.
Harness your mindset, attract success.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But then it shifted. It crossed this dangerous line into extreme physical endurance tests. High-risk stuff.
And that's what led to the tragedy at his spiritual warrior workshop back in 2009. 3 people lost their lives.
It's truly horrifying.
So our goal here is to really trace the rise of this guy, this guru. How did he persuade people? How does someone selling self-improvement end up convincing people to risk everything, literally their lives, in a makeshift sweat lodge? To understand that, you kind of have to go back to his own beginnings.
Yeah.
His own story was complicated, especially around faith and failure.
Right. His whole public image was built on overcoming hardship. He was born in Honolulu, 1957, but grew up poor in Iowa and Oklahoma. His father was a preacher.
And apparently young James felt cheated, almost. He dealt with poverty, bullying, wore thick glasses, had protruding teeth, that kind of thing. And he questioned his faith.
Like, why would God let his devout family struggle so much? It's a classic crisis of faith story in a way.
It definitely fueled this intense drive in him, a need for transformation.
At first, it was superficial stuff, right? He got into physical training, bought a motorcycle to look cool.
Yeah, trying to change the outside.
Yeah.
But then he had a serious motorcycle accident.
And that seemed to be a turning point for him. He decided chasing material things, what he called lust or sin, was a distraction.
The real power, he decided, was internal. It was all about mindset, mastering the mind.
Which, set him up perfectly for his next move, corporate America.
Right. After a short marriage ended, he wound up at AT&T, telephone marketing.
And he was good at it. Really good. He spent about 10 years there, climbing the ladder, eventually becoming head of sales.
Think about that. A whole decade honing his skills in persuasion, motivation, high-pressure sales, essentially. It was like his training ground.
It absolutely laid the foundation for the guru persona, but it also seems like that's where the first sort of embellishment started.
Oh, definitely. A big one was his claim about Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits author.
A huge name in self-help. What did Ray claim?
He claimed he'd worked closely with Covey for 4 years. It gave him instant credibility. But later, people close to Covey came forward and said, well, basically, they'd never heard of James Arthur Ray.
Wow. So possibly fabricated right from the start.
It certainly looks that way. The persona needed a bit of polishing.
So he leaves AT&T armed with these sales techniques and this, let's say, enhanced backstory. He starts his own company, James Ray International.
And now he's selling power creation, consulting. But not just for business results anymore.
No, now it's about spiritual authority. He needed to be seen as more than just a businessman.
Which led him on this quest, literally. In 2005, he goes to Mount Sinai in Egypt.
Following Moses' footsteps, looking for some cave.
Right, seeking this profound experience. And when he came back, he claimed he'd had this massive spiritual breakthrough, a next level thing.
And conveniently, this breakthrough justified making his teachings, well, more extreme.
Exactly, and this is where the money really started pouring in. His philosophy was potent because he mixed familiar self-help ideas with trendy buzzwords.
Quantum physics got thrown in there, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. He talked about the law of attraction, but sort of supercharged with these vague references to quantum physics. The core message was powerful, especially in the U.S. market.
Which was?
Basically, if your willpower can manifest well something people really wanted to believe, then that same willpower can overcome anything. Pain, fear, even, death itself.
It sounds like really clever marketing disguised as spirituality.
It was incredibly effective. And then came The Secret.
Ah, yes. The documentary and book that took the law of attraction mainstream, Ray was a key figure in that.
That exposure was massive. It got him onto Oprah.
The biggest platform imaginable at the time.
Absolutely. And by 2009, his company mixing this spiritual seeking with aggressive sales. He was reportedly making something like $9.4 million a year.
$9.4 million, just incredible. But, as often happens, fame and money weren't the end game. The methods had to escalate.
Yeah, to prove the philosophy worked, the transformation needed to be physical, visible, often painful.
This is where it really starts to get dark. The seminars promise transcendence, but the proof involves serious physical risk.
The underlying message became, survive this, prove your mind controls your body, and then nothing can stop you.
And what kind of tests are we talking about here? It wasn't just affirmations.
No, we're talking firewalking. Walking on broken glass, bending steel bars with your neck, breaking concrete blocks with your bare hands. Really extreme stuff.
And people got hurt even before the fatal incident, didn't they?
Yes. There were documented injuries, early warning signs. Like the woman who broke her wrist because Ray insisted she chop wood with her bare hand.
That wasn't just an accident. That was a direct result of following his dangerous instruction.
Exactly. It showed the physical risks inherent in his transcend your limits philosophy.
And to keep people invested climbing this ladder, he set up a hierarchy, like a pyramid scheme for enlightenment.
Pretty much. The ultimate level, the peak, was becoming a spiritual warrior.
Which implied what, exactly?
It implied you'd mastered not just success, but you transcended normal human limitations. You're basically beyond biology, beyond failure, even beyond death.
Chilling. And that sets the stage perfectly, tragically, for October 2009.
By then, Ray was living the high life. He'd bought this huge 7,200 square foot mansion in Beverly Hills for $4 million. That was his headquarters.
But the workshop itself, the spiritual warrior retreat, wasn't held there.
No, it was far away from the glamour. A remote ranch near Sedona, Arizona. High desert country.
And the cost to attend reflected this ultimate transformation promise.
It was staggering. $9,625 per person for 5 days.
Over $9,500.
And only 50 people were selected. Highly exclusive.
That price tag alone. It shows the level of commitment he was demanding. People signed waivers, acknowledging physical and emotional tests, but could anyone have truly known what was coming?
I doubt it. The conditions were brutal right away. First, they had to shave their heads.
Symbolizing shedding vanity, letting go of attachment.
Right. Then came a 36-hour fast. No food, no water for a day and a half straight.
And where were they sleeping?
Outdoors. On the desert ground. Ray gave them only a sleeping bag each.
In the Arizona high desert, that means scorching heat during the day and freezing cold at night.
Exactly. He told them they had to renounce everything to reach enlightenment. Suffering was equated with spiritual progress. It was deliberate deprivation.
All this was just the lead up, wasn't it? The main event, the final test.
Was a sweat lodge, which Ray, almost mockingly, called the Sweet Lodge.
Tell us about the structure itself. It sounds like it was fundamentally flawed from the start.
It really was. It was a temporary setup, circular, about 24 feet across, but only 4 feet high. Imagine that.
4 feet high. People couldn't even stand up straight inside.
No, it was made of wood frames covered tightly with canvas tent material. Crucially, only one small entrance exit.
No ventilation.
Zero. Absolutely none. A sealed dome, essentially.
So you take the structure, put it in the desert where it's already hot.
And then you cram 50 people inside, shoulder to shoulder, fighting for air.
What were the estimated temperatures inside?
Reports estimate it got somewhere between 150 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's incredibly hot. Like 65 to 93 Celsius.
And Ray actively made it hotter, didn't he?
Yes. He had hundreds of rocks heated in a bonfire outside. Then his staff brought them inside, placing them in the center. He then poured water over these searing hot stones,
creating massive amounts of steam, suffocating steam, raising the heat and humidity exponentially.
Unbearable conditions. And all the while, Ray himself stayed outside, near the entrance.
What was he doing?
He was talking to them, shouting encouragement, but also pressure, telling them true warriors had to conquer death, telling them not to leave, urging them to accept it. If I die, it's okay.
My God. It's like he was orchestrating their demise.
It quickly turned into chaos inside. People started showing severe symptoms. Heat stroke, dehydration.
What kinds of symptoms?
Irregular breathing, people screaming, dizziness, vomiting, collapsing. Their body temperatures were spiking to dangerous levels. It was a medical emergency unfolding in real time.
And the staff? Did they try to intervene?
They did. The investigation showed staff members warned Ray multiple times. They told him people were in serious trouble, urged him to stop.
But he refused.
He insisted they continue, reportedly saying things like they were close to a breakthrough, and worse. He explicitly forbade staff from calling 911 immediately.
He stopped them from calling for help.
Yes. They were told to try first aid themselves first, which was completely inadequate for severe heat stroke.
The outcome was inevitable then.
Tragically, yes.
Yeah.
3 people died. Kirby Brown and James Shore died there at the scene or shortly after. Liz Newman hung on for 9 days in the hospital before she passed away.
And others were injured too.
Yes, 18 other participants needed serious medical treatment for heat stroke, dehydration, respiratory problems. It was a mass casualty event caused by negligence.
What happened to Ray immediately after?
Well, he disappeared for a bit. He later claimed he wasn't fleeing, just seeking legal advice. But he was eventually found and arrested about 4 months later, February 2010.
And the charges?
3 counts of manslaughter. Negligent homicide, basically.
The trial must have been intense. What was the defense strategy?
It was quite specific. They didn't really deny that Ray was negligent, that his actions led to the deaths. How could they?
Right.
Instead, they focused on intent. They argued he never intended for anyone to die. He lacked criminal intent, they said.
How did they support that?
They pointed out he'd run similar sweat lodge events before, without fatalities. They framed it as a terrible accident, resulting from recklessness, perhaps, but not from a deliberate desire to harm. Negligence, not murder.
And the jury bought that distinction.
They did. He was ultimately convicted of negligent homicide, not manslaughter.
And the sentence for 3 deaths.
Just 2 years in prison.
2 years for 3 lives lost.
Yeah. The public reaction was, well, outrage, mostly. Many felt it was a shocking miscarriage of justice, though some of his remaining followers argued it should have only been a civil case, not criminal at all.
Unbelievable. So he served his time.
He was released in July 2013.
And what did he do then? Did he retreat from public life?
Not at all. He went right back to motivational speaking, almost immediately.
How did he even frame that?
He framed his time in prison as a profound learning experience, another trial he had overcome, which now supposedly made his teachings on personal growth even more powerful.
Using the tragedy and his conviction as part of his comeback narrative?
Exactly. And it came out later that those previous sweat lodges, while not fatal, were also extremely risky. It showed a pattern. This wasn't just a one-off mistake.
It really underscores the danger here. So what's the big takeaway from this whole horrifying story?
I think the fundamental lesson is about boundaries. Self-improvement, belief systems, they can be valuable, but they absolutely must be grounded in safety and common sense. Knowledge shouldn't endanger you or anyone else.
Especially when you have a charismatic leader figure involved.
Absolutely. Critical thinking is essential. The moment someone tells you that risking your physical well-being, ignoring your body's limits, is the path to enlightenment, that's not guidance. That's manipulation. Dangerous manipulation.
It really makes you think, if a guru promises you the world, promises limitless power, but the price is potentially your life, is that real strength? Or is it just a dangerous illusion playing on your deepest desires and fears?
A crucial question to ask.
We hope this deep dive into the James Arthur Ray case has held your attention, perhaps even sent a chill down your spine. It's a stark reminder of where unchecked belief can lead.
Indeed.
For more stories like this, more chilling cases and investigations into the darker side of human nature and true crime, please make sure you hit like, share, and especially subscribe to the Horror Doc channel. We really appreciate your support.
It helps us keep bringing these stories to light.
We'll be back with another case soon. Until then, take care, everyone.